So, as per the name suggests, your induction motor works on the principle of induction motor. Okay, if we see near about 80 to 85% of motor you will find as in industrial application as an induction motor. Because basically it's the induction motor. This induction motor can either operate on the either single phase supply or the three phase supply. And as I told in last lecture also, based on its type, your induction motor is firstly classified into two categories based on which kind of rotor being used. Either we use a slip ring induction motor or the squirrel cage induction motor. These are the two basic types of rotor that being used for a induction motor. Okay. It's first of once again discuss what are the advantage of induction motor over the DC motor. See, if you look over in the context of induction motor advantages, firstly you will find that induction motor require less maintenance. Second, the cost of induction motor is very less as compared to the DC motor. Its ruggedness, then the small for the same weight and the same power rating, the induction motor has less size and weight ratio. Then this kind of induction motor can operate easily in the dusty, explosive environment without any reduction in efficiency. Then we can operate, we can control its speed at any level with the given speed control method. Then it can produce a sufficient torque. Also, the speed control by using thyristor, we can also change its speed over the wide range. Then disadvantage, then as we vary the speed, the efficiency of induction motor goes on varying. This is where the big disadvantage for the this induction motor. Then for induction motor, the starting torque is quite low as compared to the DC motor. Then they are affected by low lagging power factor. Okay, low and lagging power factor, and some speed control method are not easy. That's why this has big cost, and we have to control the speed by different methods. Okay. Then applications of induction motor like a pump, fans, extruders, then the food and chemical industries, then paper and textile industries. All these are examples of these induction motors, right? So these are the disadvantages of this induction motor that we have to discuss. Then based on the supply, your induction motor basically classified as single phase induction motor and the three phase induction motor. And the type of rotor being used, your induction motor firstly classified as uh, squirrel cage rotor and the slip ring induction motor. These are the two basic types of motor that being used in a industry. Apart from these, your squirrel cage induction motor has a big demand than the slip ring induction motor. But for the slip ring induction motor, it has good and better power factor. Okay. Construction of, so today's topic is the construction of three phase induction motor. See, as we know that near about 80 to 85% of in industrial application you will find the induction motor. And also told depending upon the type of rotor being used, induction motor classified as a sleeping or a squirrel cage induction motor. Then these are the advantages of the induction motor over the DC motor: low maintenance, low cost, then ruggedness. They can operate at any power factor. Also they can operate at higher speed. Also by having the different thyristor, we can control the speed over the wide range. So these are the advantage of the induction motor. Then some of the disadvantages that, like, they have low starting torque, and they are affected by low and lagging power factor, and efficiency of induction motor varies with the speed. This is main disadvantage for this induction motor. These are the applications of induction motor. Some applications I have mentioned here. First, induction motor you will find in chemical, textile, mines, paper and sugar industries, food and chemical industries, some conveyors, extruders, pumps, fans, then what we can say, like elevators or escalators. These are the different applications where you find induction motor in a different categories. Now let's discuss what are the parts of induction motor that we have. Firstly, construction of induction motor. In last lecture also we have discussed about the induction motor basically has a two part. Firstly, first is rotor and the second is a stator, right? See, stator is nothing but a stationary frame is called as a stator, and the rotating part or armature is called as a rotor. Every machine has a same two parts. First is stator and the rotor. Stator is the stationary part, and the second rotor, that is called as a rotating part of induction motor. Okay. Then what are the functions? The each part of induction motor has firstly frame. Figure here I am showing. Here this is stator frame. See, the frame is the outer part which provides mechanical support to the entire construction, and this frame of induction motor carries a stator winding. Then most second important part, that is air gap. See, this air gap is provided between the stator and the rotor winding for the movement of magnetic field, or where the magnetic field is get created. The next important part, that is a fan. This fan rotates with the rotor. That means as the rotor being used, that means this fan is placed on the same rotor. Okay. Then the function of this fan is to cool the motor. Then the slip ring here. This is another type of rotor. This is a slip ring rotor, where the slip rings are used for the products to give supply to the different winding that we are using. See, this is a firstly stator of three-phase induction motor. See, the stator of three-phase induction basically consists of the three parts. First is stator frame, stator core, and the second, the third is the stator field winding or the field winding. Okay. See, this stator frame is nothing but the outer part of three-phase induction motor. The main function of this stator is to uh, you support the stator core and the field winding. This stator field is nothing but acting as a covering, and it provides protection and mechanical strength to the all inner parts of induction motor. Now, from which material this stator frame is being made up this stator frame is being made of the die cast or fabricated steel. In examination, this kind of question will be asked, from which material your stator frame being is made up. Either is made up of the die cast or the fabricated steel. Then next, this frame of induction motor must be strong, rigid, because the air gap length of the three-phase induction motor is small. Okay. Then principle of operation. See, induction motor work on the principle of rotating magnetic field. See, whenever we give supply to the induction motor, just a minute, I'm showing another slide. See, when you use the supply to the three-phase induction motor, at that time, the stator of induction motor produces field that is called as a rotating magnetic field, or the field which created by the stator of induction motor is called as a rotating magnetic field. Okay. Then just a minute. Now, when this field created by the field winding or the stator winding is get linked with the rotor winding, then rotor winding produces its own magnetic field because of the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Due to the interaction between the field created by the stator winding and the field created by the rotor winding, your induction motor start rotating. So this is the working principle of induction motor. Once the construction is get over, we will discuss about that also, right? Now, when the speed at which your induction motor or the field produces by stator winding is rotating, is called as a synchronous speed. That speed is called as a synchronous speed. And These are the parts of induction motor. First, we will discuss, cover the construction, then we go for the actual working principle. So these are the different parts of induction motor actually showing here. Outer frame, stator bed, rotor, inbuilt. Okay, so this is the stator. As the name suggests, the stator has basically three parts: stator frame, stator core, and next is stator winding. See, this stator frame is, as I told earlier, this is the outer part of induction motor. The main function of this stator frame is to provide mechanical protection. It acts as a cover to the all parts, and then here in this stator frame, in its inner periphery has a number of slots where we call as a stator core, which we called as a stator core. In this stator core, its inner periphery having even number of slots are there. In this even number of slots, we place a three-phase winding in a symmetrical manner, right? Here, the three-phase winding is placed in a symmetrical manner because suppose uh, why we place this winding symmetrical, because to balance our induction motor and to produce uniform magnetic field in between the air gap between the stator and the rotor, right? Suppose though your slot uh, in its inner periphery, you have I think let's say 70 the number of slot, then each phase will have 24 number of slots. Okay, that we divided number of slots divided by number of phases, right? When 72 divided by 3, then we got something 24, right? So the main advantage, the main reason why we are distributed this stator frame winding symmetrically, because to have uniform magnetic field. Okay, then next part of induction motor is your rotor. As name suggests, a rotor, or sometimes we called in a DC motor we call this rotor as a in the armature also. This rotor is nothing but the rotating part of induction motor. In induction motor we have the two kinds of rotor being used. Firstly, uh, squirrel cage type rotor, and second is a slip ring type rotor. Both rotors I have shown here. The first one is that this kind of rotor is this particular rotor I am showing you is a squirrel cage type rotor, and this is a slip ring type induction motor, or the slip ring type rotor, or the slip ring rotor also called as a wound rotor also, right? Wound rotor induction motor also, right? See, what do you mean by what are the advantages of these two rotor? Let's discuss. Firstly, the squirrel cage rotor. See, the in for practical applications, the squirrel cage induction motor, the squirrel cage rotor is most commonly used induction motor. See, it consists of the cylindrical steel laminations with copper or aluminum conductor embedded in the surface. See, this squirrel cage rotor has a number of slots which are slightly skew or the slightly parallel to the rotor shaft, and in this slot here, in this slot here, this slot, the rotor bars are placed, and these rotor bars are short circuited with the help of end rings, so that when the field produced by the stator winding is get cut by the rotor winding, then in that rotor winding your EMF is get induced, right? That's why these rotor windings are, or the rotor bars are get short circuited with the help of end rings, right? Then see here, here the concept is get clear. See, these are the rotor bars. See, conductor bars are shown here. See, these are the conductor bars, and these conductor bars are short circuited with the help of these end rings, right? And when the bars are get short circuited with the end ring, it will be look like this. This is a squirrel cage type rotor. Such kind of rotor is called a squirrel cage type rotor because its construction is resembles with the skin of squirrel. So that this kind of squirrel cage rotor, such kind of rotor is called as a squirrel cage type rotor. Okay. See, the squirrel cage type rotor induction motor are very popular in industry. They are available from size from 1 kilowatt to 10 megawatt. That means in a HP will see, right from 1.3 HP to 10,000s of HP. These motors are available. If we look at the applications or advantages, then their construction is simple, rugged, and they are self-starting. Commonly, the motor used in industry are usually IEC or the NEMA standard. The NEMA is a organization, association. It is use standard rating and its characteristics and manufacturing standard for the different industrial motor. Right? Then the second category of rotor is the slip ring rotor. Here the construction is shown here, the slip ring rotor. This slip ring rotor, or the it's also called as wound rotor induction motor. See, this slip ring induction motor has external resistance, or we can say that the connection of the three-phase winding is brought to the shaft and it's connected to the slip ring. With the help of this slip ring, we can add extra resistance to the rotor circuit. With the help of this resistance, um, we can start our induction motor, this slip ring or the wound rotor induction motor, with the low inrush current by inserting some high resistance to this rotor circuit. With the help of this resistance, we can, once the motor is get accelerated to the given speed or the rated speed, we can decrease this resistance with the help of the sliding or the bar. But till the motor get accelerated to the rated speed. If we compare the slip ring and the wound rotor, then the number of turns required, the winding required for this slip ring induction motor is higher. If we compare the torque speed characteristics, then your slip ring induction motor produces a high starting torque with respect to the squirrel cage induction motor. Also, the power factor of the slip ring induction motor is also higher than compared to the slip ring induction motor. See, if we compare the slip ring and the squirrel cage rotor, based on its construction, based on the starting torque, based on the power factor, here the comparison points are showing here. The rotor of the three-phase slip ring induction motor is similar to the stator winding. That means for the slip ring induction motor, both windings carry the three-phase winding. Here the three-phase windings are carried by the rotor like the stator. That means for the slip ring induction motor, both windings have to feed stator also and rotor also. But for the squirrel cage type rotor, the rotor consists of bars. The rotor consists of the bar, the help of which are short circuited with the help of end rings. Okay, due to use of the slip rings and three-phase winding, the construction of the slip ring or the wound rotor induction motor is little bit complicated, but the construction of the squirrel cage rotor is very simple. Then point of adding resistance, as the rotor of squirrel cage induction motor is not accessible to user, so that we can use or we can add any external resistance to the rotor circuit of the squirrel cage rotor. But with the help of, due to these applications or due to having three slip ring, we can add extra resistance in a series with the rotor of the slip ring or the wound rotor induction motor, right? That means this, due to this extra slip rings, we can add extra resistance in series with the slip ring winding. Then due to three-phase winding, then access slip ring, the rotors of the slip ring induction or the slip ring type induction motor is very costly. But due to simple construction, the rotor or the squirrel cage rotor is very cheap. Then point of applications or the popularity. In industry, near about the 4 to 5% of induction motor are of the sleep ring induction motor type, but 80 to 90% applications are of the squirrel cage type rotor. That means most popular rotor is of the squirrel cage type rotor. Then type of starter used for the induction motor. For slip ring induction motor, we use rotor resistance type starter, but for squirrel cage induction motor, the rotor resistance starter cannot be used. Also, we have to control the speed of induction motor. Uh, Either we control the speed of induction motor by varying the stator parameter or the rotor parameter. Okay, but we can't control the speed of squirrel cage type rotor by changing the rotor the parameter. Okay, because the rotor of squirrel cage type induction motor is not accessible to user. Okay, the rotor of slip ring induction motor has the same, must be same number of poles as that of the stator, but the poles of squirrel cage type induction motor automatically adjust to the poles that of the stator. See, the speed control of rotor resistance is possible by changing rotor parameter. The speed control of squirrel cage induction motor by varying the speed rotor resistance cannot be uh, possible. Then the rotor copper losses are very high for the slip ring induction motor. But squirrel cage induction motor rotor copper losses are high, very low, so that efficiency is very high. Then applications where the motors being used. Firstly, slip ring induction motor used for the lift, hoist, then cranes, compressor. Uh, Examples or the applications slip ring induction motor are very less, near at 4 to 5%, as we discussed earlier. Then applications of the squirrel cage induction motors like lathe machines, drilling, fans, blowers, water pumps, grinders, printing machines, etc. So all these are the applications of the induction motor, right? Then speed of RPM, right? As I told earlier, when we use supply to the three-phase induction motor or the stator of three-phase induction motor, then the field which created by the induction motor, the field of induction motor, rotate at a speed which is called as a synchronous speed, and the field is called as a rotating magnetic field. Why we call it as a rotating magnetic field? Because the field continuously changing its direction also and speed also, right? So the magnitude of this synchronous speed is given by ns is equal to 120 f upon p. Is it clear? Here, the magnitude of this synchronous speed is given by 120 f upon p, where 120 is constant, f frequency, and p number of poles. Here, how the rotating magnetic field is get produced. Here, principle of operation of three-phase induction motor, right? When we use supply to the induction motor, due to apply voltage, current starts flowing due to this three-phase current, or the current flowing to three different phases. Field is produced, which is called as a rotating magnetic field. The magnitude and of this rotating field is constant, but it's rotating at a constant speed in the air gap between the stator and the rotor. See, the rotor winding is initially not rotating, because when this rotating magnetic field cut the stationary rotor conductor, and then some EMF is induced in a rotor winding, right? Due to this EMF, rotor induces its voltage, and which produces or given rise to current, right? Rotor current. Due to this rotor current, the rotor produces its own magnetic field. So due to this, the interaction between or the force created by the rotor winding and stator winding rotates your rotor. Or we can say that due to the interaction between the stator and the rotor magnetic field, your rotor experience some kind of force and rotate in the direction of rotating magnetic field. That means suppose your rotating magnetic field is rotating in the clockwise direction, then the rotor also rotating in the same direction, like a clockwise direction, right? Suppose if you want to change the direction of induction motor, then simply which interchange any two phases of induction motor, then your induction motor direction is get changed, right? Now next point, that is the synchronous speed. What is my synchronous speed? See, the synchronous speed is nothing but a speed at which the rotating magnetic field rotates. It's called as a synchronous speed, and the magnitude of this synchronous speed is given by 120 f upon p, p number of poles and f the supply frequency. If I take p is equal to 2 and the frequency is equal to 50, then we got a synchronous speed of the near about 3000 rpm. Then next is a this is a synchronous speed. There is another term which is called as actual speed. When the interaction between the stator and the rotor magnetic field is get exceeded or get collide, then your rotor experience some kind of speed and the rotor start rotating. Okay, then the speed at which your rotor start rotating or rotor rotates is called as actual speed, and that speed is given by or mentioned by capital N. Okay, capital N. That means actual speed of induction motor is nothing but the speed at which the rotor of induction motor is being rotated. It's called as the actual speed, and the synchronous speed is nothing but the speed at which the field created by the field winding or the stator winding or the rotor magnetic field rotate is called as a synchronous speed. Okay, then the difference between the actual speed and synchronous speed is called as a slip. It's very important term in the induction motor. The difference between the synchronous speed and actual speed is called as a slip. And if we calculate the percent slip, then percent slip we can calculate by dividing the uh, difference between the synchronous speed and actual speed divided by synchronous speed. Then we got the percentage slip, right? The value of this slip can varies from the 0 to 1, 0 to 1 for the forward motoring operation. So if the speed of induction motor or the slip magnitude of the slip increases beyond the 1, it becomes 2 or less than 1, then either it can be operated the regenerative braking mode or the generating mode. Okay, when the speed exceeded, then see, based on this value of the slip, we have classified our induction motor characteristics in the three regions: forward motoring, lugging, regeneration, and we can also call it as a regenerative braking also. Okay. Here are the torque speed characteristics of three-phase induction motor. Okay. Here on y-axis, here the value of the torque are shown, and on x-axis value of the slip. Okay. As I told earlier, for operation of induction motor in a forward motoring region, the value of the slip of induction motor must be from 0 to 1. If the speed of induction slip value of the slip increases beyond 1, then induction motor goes in the plugging or counter current braking mode. If the sleep value of the slip becomes less than 0, then induction motor goes in a generating mode operation. Right? So these are the torque speed characteristics of induction motor we have to learn, right? Basically, these torque speed characteristics we have divided into three basic regions based on the value of the slip, right? Generally for the normal operation of induction motor or normal operation of induction machine as a motor, the value of slip must be ranging from 0 to 1, must be ranging from 0 to 1. If the value of speed or sleep of induction motor increases beyond the 1, then induction motor works in the counter current braking mode. Okay, same if the value of induction motor sleep increases beyond, decreases less than 0, become less than 0, then induction motor work in a generating mode. Okay. Now the first, let's say discuss about the first mode of operation, that is forward motoring operation. That operation, or that mode of operation also we have divided into two parts. First is stable mode of operation and second is the unstable mode of operation. For stable mode of operation, the sleep of induction motor is from the 0 to maximum sleep. In that region, induction motor work in a stable mode of operation. When the sleep of induction motor increases beyond the maximum sleep, then induction motor becomes unstable, operate in an unstable mode of operation. Let's discuss the first mode of operation, that is a forward motoring operation. The forward motoring region, the value of sleeps correspond to the 0 to 1, right? See, in this region, induction motor speed or the direction of induction motor is the same as that of the rotating magnetic field. See, the torque increases as the sleep increases, while because the air gap sleep flux remains constant. Okay, that means in the first mode of operation, as the speed here, as the sleep of induction motor goes on increasing, your torque of induction motor also goes on increasing the maximum sleep region gets achieved. That means from 0 to maximum sleep region, your induction motor operates in a stable mode of operation. Once the maximum sleep region gets exceeded, your motor becomes unstable, right? That means for region of sleep is greater than 0 but less than equal to maximum sleep, called as a stable mode of operation, and the operating point of motor should be in this region. This stable region, with increasing the torque demand, the speed of motor decreases. But when once the sleep increases beyond the maximum sleep, the motor becomes unstable. In the unstable mode of operation, the speed of motor also goes on increasing. Hence we called it as unstable mode of operation. This is the first mode of operation, right from the value of sleep from 0 to 1. Right. Now next region, that is a generating region, right from starting from value of sleep from 0 to -1. In this mode of operation, your induction motor acts as a generator, right? In this induction motor operation, the speed of induction, the direction of rotor and the rotating magnetic field is also same, right? That means if the rotor rotating in the clockwise direction, sorry, stator rotating, magnetic field rotating in the clockwise direction, then the rotor also rotates in the clockwise direction, like the forward motoring region, right? Here, the region from sleep from 0 to -1 called as a generating mode of operation. Here, the torque produced by, but as we know that, as I discussed already, though the direction of rotor and the stator field is same, but the torque produced by the induction motor is opposite, or we can call it the negative. So this generally this region is called as a generating mode of operation, right? So these are the three regions of operation. Now next is the and the last operating region of induction motor, that is called as a plug-in or the counter current braking. For counter current braking, the sleep of induction motor becomes S is equal to greater than 1. Here S is equal to greater than 1. That means from C greater than 1, we can call it as a counter current braking or the plugging mode of operation. Here in plugging mode of operation, the speed of rotor and the stator is opposite to each other. Okay. To have sleep greater than equal to 1, the speed of induction motor must be negative, right? Hence negate, that means rotating in a opposite direction. So these are the three torque speed characteristics of induction motor that we have discussed. Okay, so these are the point we have discussed in this lecture. In further lecture, we will discuss about starting methods of induction motor and the speed control methodology that we use for the induction motor. Okay.